What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Isis. His name is Kvoth. Isis, ladies and gentlemen, he's not a one-trick pony. Or is he? We'll have to wait and see. On the other side of the map, in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Julian Papa. Julian Papa. Making a great showing in that first game, but getting absolutely overwhelmed by Kvoth's Gaia here. Changing away from the Hades into Zeus on this map. Map is Frozen Waste. An incredibly aggressive map here. We'll have to wait and see what Julian's got in store for Kvoth in this one. But Kvoth decided to go with Isis here as a bit of a surprising maneuver. Because we could have seen a veto for sure. But this map is very hit or miss for Egyptian. Sometimes it's really, really good, and sometimes it's really, really bad. So it's a bit of a risky pick on this map, if you have to ask me. And what makes it a good map? Well, this town center here with these walrus make this a really, really good two town center map. However, this gold mine being exposed like it is makes it a really, really bad map for a two town center play. So even with the good town center, having a bad gold mine makes it very, very difficult to make that all work. So we'll have to wait and see what we have to wait and see what Kvoth wants to try and do here. But most importantly, as we see, this is something I've seen before, and it's not right. We'll talk about it, but we'll have to wait and see what Kvoth is actually going to be doing here in this game to try and get an advantage. Or what Julian Papa is going to do to try and punish the early game weaknesses of Egyptian. So how is Kvoth going to overcome those weaknesses in this matchup, because they are there, and two, is Julian going to be able to actually execute something that gives him an advantage in this game to convert it into a win? We'll have to wait and see. Now, let's talk about what Kvoth has done here. Kvoth has left his caribou in the home base here to eat later. Moved forward onto the hunt here and is going to basically he's doing this because it can be annoying to deal with, like early Jason, early Odysseus walking through and pushing you off this hunt. So he's trying to finish all of this hunt off as fast as he possibly can. But the thing is, and then return back to this hunt over here. But the thing is, this hunt is also exposed. So even if he gets pushed off here, the Jason Odysseus are just going to chase this down and then also cause panic and destruction on the caribou that are over here. That being said, this is the best town center you could ever hope for in the history of Age of Mythology. This is the best map Isis could hope for. This is as good as it gets. And Kvoth has just noticed it. So we'll see, will he be able to work this one out, and will he be able to get that town center up? Julian needs to basically prevent that town center from going up at all costs here. Otherwise, things are going to be really, really difficult. The thing that I would recommend here for Frozen Waste, the build I would recommend here for Frozen Waste for a Zeus player is going to be advancing at the very latest 430 here. If you're advancing after 430, we are going to be seeing a 450 or whatever it is, 454 or something like that. Something like that. Maybe a little bit earlier. But the thing is, if you go that late, you just give the town center to your opponent. And conversely here, in order to get that town center up against a really, really good Zeus player here as Isis, you kind of have to be advancing at 4 minutes to the classical age. You have to be in the classical age at 4 minutes to get this town center up. Otherwise, things are going to be really, really tough for you. You have to send so many villagers over here to get this one up. And then even after that, you're not in for a safe time, because Athena Rush, Athena Hoplite, being able to push in with Toxotes can be really tough to stop. Alternatively, also just Athena Hippocon pushing in with some hoplites getting pushed back are also an option, as we do see the Jason coming in to cause some problems over here. Jason comes in, whacks the Pharaoh. Good defense on this one. This isn't really something I recommend with the early Jason against the a mass amount of villagers on a position over you. You want the Odysseus in as fast as you possibly can to sling at this. But Bast coming through for Kvoth very, very late. We'll have to wait and see if he does decide to get this town center, having advanced that late, especially with Hermes already through We see the obelisk getting taken down over on this position. The walrus coming up, and Kvoth is going to be accepting that he needs to retreat back now. And this is just something that happens. You don't need to have a Jason there to force your opponent away. You just need to advance to the classical age. Had Julian just gone for a 430 here, that walrus would not have been eaten. He would have been able to move in with the center, have the Jason in, and push back, potentially bolt the pharaoh. Wouldn't have been a bad idea, and potentially even get a villager kill here. As one relic does get picked up, drops into the temple here. Bow of Artemis, archer, wood and gold cost reduction. That is a huge relic to be picking up here in this game, because it allows the chariot archers to be incredibly cheap here. As he's, this is. Julian Papa going for a center town center here against Isis is the most ballsy thing you can possibly do in this matchup. Why? Because you give the Isis a point to attack. You're saying, hey, Isis player who likes to go one town center fast, heroic into an Ancestors Eclipse timing push, I've got a location for you to attack, and it's right here. It's right in front of your base. That's what this is doing. This is 100% what is happening here, and Julian Pahara is going to have a very difficult time defending this. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it. The best way to kind of defend a town center against an Isis Ancestors Eclipse push is to build your buildings around the town center. You put stables here, you put military academy barracks, and you just build them around the town center. Potentially also get yourself, say, Masons upgrade, or even architects. Probably not architects, a little bit tough, but you got to get at least Masons, and you try and hold on and ceasefire preemptively as well, or even try and get the ceasefire off, as we do see Kvoth here attempting to get to the next age. Garrisons the villages. Nephthys coming through. Houses going up, and I imagine a prosperity will be coming in very, very shortly here for Kvoth. Now, this is where things get interesting. This is a very small thing that separates good Isis players from really, really good Isis players. And that is, how much gold do you actually need at this point in the game? This is a good Isis player. What's a very good Isis player, do you ask? Well, a very good Isis player is somebody who throws everyone onto gold after you get Shaft Mine, throws a market down to buy resources with that excessive amount of gold you mine. Because here's the thing, you don't actually need that much gold going into the heroic age. You can get 400 gold for a Migdol stronghold, and then all you need after that is like 7 villages-ish on the gold mine to afford the 40 gold you need for the chariot archers. So you really don't need that much gold. So all of this excess gold that Kvoth is going to be getting right now, where is it going to go? And what you'll notice mostly is that he's going to be floating a lot of resources in the gold income here, moving forward. Right now, 400 gold float. We do see a Migdol stronghold coming down onto this position over here as walls coming in. Bolt goes down onto the Sphinx there. Hoplites coming out. Stables coming down. He's got a lot of military buildings. Julian Papa does. Olympic parentage also coming through for Julian Papa. We'll see how it's all going to shape up after all is said and done. Migdol stronghold on the way. Obelisk coming up as well for Kvoth, trying to get himself just a little bit more line of sight. Meanwhile, one of the big weaknesses against Egyptian in the classical age is the fact that they've got some mobility on the raids now with the chariot archers, with the cavalry, with the scorpion men. They've got some mobility, so these outside hunt packs, they can be found and can be caught. It can be a really, really difficult thing to deal with. So we'll have to wait and see. Chariot archers now starting to come out here. Julian does have the advantage of having 2 town centers, so his villages are going to be coming out. And the longer that Kvoth waits to launch an attack here, the harder the game is going to be for Kvoth to actually win. He's going to have to get a lot of villager kills to kind of make up for the fact he's been sitting on one town center for so long here. So we'll have to wait and see. But the chariot archer's looking to move around and start figuring out where he can attack. We do have to remember, another big weakness of Isis is that Isis has probably got the second worst scouting in the game behind Ra. And that's just simply because the priest is you can't get obelisks up against Greek or against Norse because the priest is just going to get whacked by the Kotoska boss and whacked by an Ulsark, and you're not going to be able to know where anything is. So right now, Chariot Archers are just moving through the middle of the base here. Kvoth not paying attention. He's about to lose his Scorpion Man. That's absolutely huge. One town center. Isis losing his Scorpion Man for free here. That's a big hit to the Ancestors Eclipse timing push, as Julian is realizing he just needs to hold on. Look at the military buildings. This is exactly what I was saying he needed to do. He's going to be in a very, very good position moving on here. Chariot Archers moving around. One thing I kind of would have preferred is just mostly stables here from Julian and spamming out Hippocon here to deal with the Chariot Archers, making Hoplites, making Toxotes. Those units, not the best, but just mass Hippocon is generally the answer to Isis. That at least the difficulty against Isis that I see is when I play Isis is mass Hippocon, especially Hippocon getting like pierce armor, and then also getting like medium Hippocon, heavy Hippocon, and all that other good stuff. As we are seeing Kvoth now sniping units here nicely. Good play here from Kvoth, still pumping units. A second Migdol stronghold coming up here as well for Kvoth, as he still hasn't got his siege work. So launching an attack here is going to take quite some time. Yeah, this is not a swift attack coming for Julian Papa in the slightest. This is a raid heavy strategy from Kvoth. He's going to be looking for villager kills. He's trying to keep himself close to Julian Papa's villager count here. And he is only 10 villagers behind, but it's Egyptian 10 villagers behind. So Julian is in a very, very good spot here. As the armory is coming up, we do see the medium Hippocon coming in. You got to be careful. You basically need to have around about 10 Hippocon to fight these 15 Chariot Archers, because the Chariot Archers, they are strong. 99 HP plus 9.35 damage. It's a lot. Ancestors Eclipse coming into the main base here for Julian, or for Kvoth, as Julian now gets himself watchtowers. The Hippocon trying to take out the Chariot Archers here as well. The village is going to be retreating back. Just garrison into the town center is the easiest way to defend this here. As the army coming back, we do have the heroes in to try and take down these minions here as well. But it looks like Julian wasn't really paying attention. He's got to be careful here as the Chariot Archers moving into the main base, trying to take down the villagers in the main base here. Kvoth slowly catching up ever so slightly. He's got himself the second town center down, as well as the siege works coming up on this position here to boot, as the Chariot Archers have themselves heavy chariots now as well, retreating up to the top corner of the map. And it looks to me like the damage has been done here. Kvoth is caught up on villagers. Julian's lost a lot of units here. So I would say right about now, roughly equal game. There is still a ceasefire remaining though, as this lone Hippocon is going to be moving in and attempting to take out these Chariot Archers all by himself. We'll see how he's going to go. Maybe one kill here. Gets the one kill and then gets taken out. Nice play here from Kvoth. Gets a lot of damage done, but he does lose a lot of population. If you'll note there, he had a lot of Chariot Archers that were picked off, so it wasn't exactly a completely free trade. As the Hippocon come in, going to be taking out these Chariot Archers here as well. Kvoth not paying attention, finally going to be retreating away, but he might get a little bit more damage taken, as now the Elephant Chariot Archers moving forward. There is at this point somewhat of an attempt to deal with the Elephants with the military academy here, but the other problem here for Julian is he hasn't really set up his farms. He's in a bit of a difficult position food-wise, and because he didn't go mass Hippocon, he's going to be finding himself having a little bit of a trouble defending this attack. And I think an early ceasefire here is going to be vital for him to stay alive, as he needs to get back up the population. He needs to get himself defended and not lose this town center ever here. As we see Julian retreating back, the stable goes down. Archery range over here getting taken out as well. Hippocon retreating back onto this position. You probably could start thinking about attacking these Chariot Archers now with 5 Hippocon. Might be enough to deal with that, as the unit's starting to push through. Toxotes here with the tanking of everything else. He will be able to deal with those Chariot Archers much easier now, as Kvoth has to retreat back. But now Kvoth going to be getting himself a third town center, securing this top gold mine to boot. We'll see how this game is going to be motoring ahead. Julian's plan here has to basically be get late game. If you can get late game, get into Myrmidon, then what can Kvoth do? Kvoth is going to have to probably try and get some sort of a Mythic Age timing going. If he can get Thoth before Julian can get to the Mythic Age, might be a way to go, especially after all the damage that he's managed to do with Ancestors Eclipse. It might be possible, but you do have to remember there is still that ceasefire remaining and a lot of time for Julian to play with to catch back up as the town center builds up. And look at this walrus that he's been saving for this entire game. Gonna be able to eat that one up. Yum, yum, yum. Happy days for the Kvothian Egyptian laborers. They're going to be eating well tonight. As the Chariot Archer is searching around, making sure nothing crazy is going on. Irrigation, bowsaw, quarry, all the upgrades coming through for Kvoth. As the archery range on this position starting to get taken out. Units pushing through here for Julian. He still doesn't need to take these fights, in all honesty. Just keep building buildings and wait. He's got a lot of gold in the bank to boot as the Chariot Archer is trying to get in, trying to snipe villagers here. There is no crenellation, so sniping those Chariot Archers is a little bit challenging here as Mercenary coming out for Kvoth to try and defend against these units here. It's the Mercenary, while they have been hit with a nerf, it is still pushing your population above 154, and you can still kind of defend a little bit while you put pressure on, but obviously just retreating away from them and letting them kind of just die to their lifespan is also a way to play, as we do see a little bit of the units starting to come through. Julian still holding tightly onto this ceasefire. It's definitely not something that I think this is a really common case with Greek players, as Julian does finally click it, is that they just try and get maybe too much value out of ceasefire. Ceasefire is a god power that the easiest, simplest usage of ceasefire is to let you get away with not producing military. It lets you get away with not producing military. So you should be thinking about using ceasefire to bait in some sort of attack. Once the attack comes, hit ceasefire, build your units, and then you can have like a technology advantage at the point that ceasefire finishes. Is generally the easiest way to use it. But I see everyone trying to hold it for like a town center grab or something else like that, where maybe you just need to use a more simple usage of the god power to find an advantage. But now Julian's also got to be careful about over on this position. He still haven't got his town center up, and look at this, Thoth on the way now for Kvoth, and Julian, he is up through Apollo, so he will be able to hit that heroic age possibly at the same time, maybe a little bit before the Mythic Age of Kvoth. We'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be a spicy one. As the Chariot Archers swinging around here, going to be looking to hit some more raids. Kvoth is always about the raids on this map. These gold mines are so hard to secure, as the units here for Julian starting to move across the map. He doesn't need to attack. He needs to know what his win condition is here. His win condition is stay alive. He does not need to put pressure onto the Isis at all here in this game, especially with Thoth coming in. Now, while Thoth is really good and getting like Thoth elephants is really fun and well and good, but they just straight lose to the Myrmidon. As the raid coming in over here, Julian does react to that nicely, pulling back off of that gold mine basically instantly, it seems. Apollo going to be winning the race to the next age, but Thoth coming through. Fortified town centers also coming through. There's that heroic cage as the Manticore pops out. But neither player has got fortified town centers, but Kvoth is getting that one coming through. Another Migdol stronghold coming up as well to boot, as the Scorpion Man going down. There's the Meteor coming down onto this position. How much damage can a Meteor do as it hits the granary there? Unfortunately, it's such a sporadic god power. Sometimes it kills the town center, but in this situation, it seems like the Meteor wants to hit everything but the town center. But what this has done is it's completely opened up this area for Kvoth to literally just roll through. And here's the next question. What is Kvoth's Phoenix doing here that he has got for free? Where has he sent it into an idle position over here? He can use it to go raid the Greek player. It's really, really tough to deal with myth units as the Greek player, because you've only got this one Odysseus. If you can get a whole bunch of Phoenix to attack a whole bunch of different areas on the map, very tough to deal with that. You can only really defend one area with Odysseus. As Tusks of Apenamuck is coming through, this is going to be the big bonus here for for Kvoth's elephants, look at their HP is at 562, and look where it goes up to. It's like 600 and something, right? 652. It's such a huge boost to HP, 90 hit points. And here's the other thing. He's got this low HP elephant that he can just heal back up as well. As you see, a Monument to the Pharaohs coming up. I can understand why he's doing this. Getting more favor isn't a bad thing, but he doesn't need it. He doesn't need this Monument. Lightning Storm, not that big of a deal. Underworld, Underworld's going to be able to come down somewhere anyways, but not that big of a deal, as we're now starting to see Kvoth thinking maybe he can attack the top side of the map here, as he's rolling up here to make it work. Meanwhile, barracks coming down here for Kvoth as well on the bottom side of the map, looking to get a siege works over here as well. Wouldn't mind seeing like a Migdol stronghold, as the villagers do spot this getting created, as another siege works coming through onto this position. Potentially some towers being dropped down here to make a push in onto the town center. Wouldn't go astray, as Julian Papara is getting closer and closer to being able to advance to the Mythic gauge. Honestly, Julian can go through Hera here as well, with the idea of getting a handful of Medusa out to deal with these elephants. As we see the Underworld passage coming in onto this position, as the units drop through, the Siege Tower's elephant's going to be taking the Underworld gets placed right next to the Siege Tower elephants, and Kvoth just goes, what? He just turns around and he just absolutely massacres that Underworld, and then Julian's like, no Underworld left for me. And Kvoth now, he's just going to be smashing his way through. He doesn't yet have Valley of the Kings, prioritizing Book of Thoth first. Not a bad idea to get Book of Thoth. Getting that boost to food, wood, gold is a very, very big thing here. As we see walls coming up, catapult coming through as well. Hephaestus is on the way for Julian, so he's opting for Hephaestus over anything else there, as the Toxotes here getting distracted by 3 chariots. Kvoth is so good at doing that. And the town center does fall here. Julian, he might not want to resign here, because Hephaestus on 2 town centers, you can push back against these kind of Thoth, these kind of Thoth ISIS things, so long as you can keep gathering gold and stay alive and get into your Myrmidons and things like that to push back. But we'll have to wait and see if that's actually going to be possible. Obviously, if Kvoth can actually get this town center up, that kind of thing stops being as much the case here, as the Toxotes getting taken down over here. Watchtower trying to take out the Phoenix to boot here, as we do see some cheeky raids coming through here from Julian, but he's not defending himself as best as he can, as we do see a cheeky fortress coming up, a handful of spearmen coming out here for Kvoth. I don't think that Julian's going to care all too much about that one. Interested to see if this Phoenix egg comes back up for Kvoth after losing that one. He's got himself 35 favor, so could easily get that back out, but the Jason says no. Basically, yeah, he says no, as the elephant's starting to move in onto the main town center over there. Plenty Vault over on this position over here. A temple coming up as well. At this point, Julian doesn't even have enough favor to get himself Forge of Olympus in a really, really difficult position here, as Julian's now moving forward. He's found some villagers in the main base of Kvoth, but Kvoth's economy is so absurdly strong. Even if he loses all 12 of these villagers, he's still probably got more economy than Julian, or more income than Julian here, I should say, is now the Chariot Archers moving back over onto this position here, hitting the gold villagers. This is what makes Kvoth so good. He's been getting better and better as time goes on, as we are seeing the Prodromus coming out to deal with these elephants. Prodromus is the other unit that's really, really good against elephants, having their counter cavalry bonus, as the Pharaoh now moves in, gets the town center set up, puts the Migdol strongholds down, catapults pushing forward to take down everything else that's over here. As the Colossus wandering forward to take out this Migdol stronghold over here as well. But with Kvoth getting his 4th town center up, the game looks very, very dire for Julian Papara indeed here. These raids coming through from the Toxotes are not that useful. The villagers need to get onto this gold mine as well. That's why the fortresses come down. He's got a little bit of gold left over here. He's still mining this gold mine up here, still trying to defend on those locations here. Julian coming through to try and take out the catapult. And this is what I was talking about. If this was a fire siphon, this catapult would probably be dead by now, but the Heliopolis just takes so long to kill off a catapult. It does manage to do so. The villagers come through, are going to be able to shank down that Heliopolis as well, as Kvoth moving back in to continue to try and take out Julian's main base. And now we finally see Valley of the Kings coming through for Kvoth. Valley of the Kings, for those of you who do not know, is a technology which boosts, or reduces, I should say, your Migdol stronghold train time by 90%, I believe. Is that the thing? No, 67%. I told a lie. 67%. That's a huge reduction in train time, and effectively makes things like chariot archers and cavalry train instantly, and your elephants, which normally take 15 seconds to train, that goes down to like 6 seconds to train, which is next to nothing, all things considered, as the Heliopolis making their way over here, or Heliopolis, I should say, making their way over here to take out this fortified town center, but it's just not going to be happening here, it would seem. Or maybe it will, as the village is not really trying that hard to take this out. One Heliopolis does fall, so the village is going to be able to repair this one back up, it would seem. As units still motoring around this map, trying to continue to get cheeky little raids. Random spearmen coming through here as well. Bronze mail, bronze shields, and heavy cavalry coming through. But a cheeky wall coming down here, and the catapults have already rolled in here to take their position, to take out this town center. Is going to be absolutely huge. You will have to finish this off around the back. Yes, you could build a Bellerif on here as Julian Papa, but Julian does not have well, he does have the resources at the moment, and he could get that one up, but in that moment, he does decide to tap out, and Kvoth gets the dub here. Kvoth's ice is looking mightily strong here. It's going to be scary to see if he's actually going to pull this out against one of the other kind of top competitors in this tournament or not, but it is looking really mightily strong. Julian making a lot of Julian making a lot of mistakes here in this game. Things like grabbing this forward town center first in this matchup is something you want to avoid. Things like kind of not being able to defend against an Answers Eclipse in your main base, holding on to ceasefire a little bit long, not going mass cavalry here against a one town center ISIS is a big no-no. Mass cavalry against one town center ISIS is the standard, especially if you see just a single Migdol. If you see like barracks and spearmen coming out, then sure, you're gonna have to deal with that. But Kvoth just goes straight in for what to me looked like a very, very standard ISIS here. And every single time I ever try this against a top tier Greek player, they go mass cavalry and you'll kind of just get absolutely dismantled. So Julian's going to have to go back to the drawing board and think about how he's going to be able to deal with ISIS in the future here. If you guys enjoyed this game, Kvoth played it out of his mind, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.